All right, guys, so I'm back. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the diff bushing lockouts. What I'm gonna do first, I already kind of started on it. So here's the front side of the car for the diff mountings anyway. So there is, I'm gonna do this one at a time. So I lowered the IRS. You can see about how much I dropped it. I got it supported by a couple of jack stands and a jack. So I gotta support the diff a little bit so the bolts stay straight. Then you're gonna go ahead and remove this 18 millimeter. And then once I get that one out, I'll show you guys exactly how the bushings go in. So there's a spacer, there's a bushing, there's a washer, and then the new bolt, and then the same thing on this side, and then the new bolt has to come in. But we're gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna switch to the part where I'm putting the bushing in next. All right, see you guys in a bit. All right, guys, just want to give you a quick overview of how this is gonna go in. So these are gonna go on the driver's side. So it's kind of a two-part on the driver's side. One goes on the driver's side from the front. The other one is gonna be these bolts that go in from the rear side, but still on the front diff bushings. I'm gonna go underneath the car and then show you guys a little better. All right, so here we got our diff. So wherever this one is, that's where the bushing lockout with the smallest bolt, lock washer, and the big washer goes. So just like this, it will go in that space, and then you tighten that down. But before you do that, you're gonna use your longest bolt with that washer, and you're gonna use it on the front side. I don't know if you guys can see. Got a horrible angle here. Give me another try. Okay, so here it is. Here's where the longest bolt goes with the washer. So you put that one in first, and then you go from the back side, you put in the bushing insert and the small bolt with the lock washer and the big washer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that on the driver's side that already started over there. And I'll come back and show you guys the final result. And then we will move on to the rear ones after that, which are much easier. All right, guys, a little correction here. So this is the front side, driver's side. I know in previous clip I said that the lock washer goes over here. The lock washer actually goes on here, and no lock washer on this side, because otherwise you will not catch the threads with the short bolt. I know it looks crooked right now. It's just sitting there. It's not even threaded in. So I'm gonna go take that bolt out, take this whole thing out. Since I have the whole IRS literally just free floating, I don't have any bolts in, I actually can move my IRS around to make some space to get this stuff in. Otherwise it's kind of a little tough, but you can do it. It's just takes a little bit of finagling to do. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and change that out, and then put those in and see how they look, how they tighten down. The torque specs on these are 129 foot-pounds. This one is no problem. I already torqued it down once. This one, however, is a little different. On all the videos that I've seen, they pretty much said that you can't really tighten that one, or you can't really torque it because you can't get a torque wrench in there. So just get it nice and snug by hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back. All right, guys. So here's the final project on the final product on the driver's side front. Everything's torqued down. This one was a little pain in the ass. So usually you'll be sitting right behind that, so you won't be able to get a torque wrench on it. Since my IRS is just hanging, I moved it over a little bit and actually got a torque wrench on it. So yeah, both these are torqued down, good to go. Remember to put a little bit of blue Loctite on the ends of the threads before you put it on there. I also greased the bushing itself with some red and tacky synthetic grease. Make sure you use that grease, otherwise the bushings are just gonna start deteriorating. But yeah, that is it for this side. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rear one on the driver's side as well, show you guys that. And then the other side is going to be exact the same, except for it's actually more accessible on it's more accessible on the passenger side front than it is on the driver's side. So the rear is much more accessible. I'm just going to use my air hammer. It's a 18mm socket. Toss that bad boy on there. I chose to do one at a time just so I don't have to have issues with alignment of these bolts too much. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to move on and do the other one. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It just goes from one side. You take that bolt out and then you use the bushing, the washer, and then lock washer. Make sure you grease the bushing. Make sure you use some blue thread lock on the end of the threads. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get these two done and then come back with the final result. All right, just a quick overview. Some Loctite on the end. That might just be a little too much. I'm gonna have to wipe some of that down. And then I'm just getting some grease, putting it around the outside of the bushing, and then just whatever I have left, I'm putting a little bit just on the inside. I'm not really trying to put on too much. I just got a little happy with squeezing my grease gun, but same thing. I'm just gonna put nice light coat on there. I'm gonna remove a little bit of that Loctite. But yeah, you just grease it, Loctite it, and then it goes right in. All right, so here you see just a light coat of grease, a little bit of Loctite on the end, nothing too special. Be careful when you use swivel sockets, that can happen. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just remove the factory 18 bolt, and then the ones that go the bolts that you're actually replacing, these are 22s. So 18s are coming out, 22s are going in. So let's go ahead and remove this bad boy now. Oh. Alright, so this one comes out just like that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put the new one right in. Get it threaded in by hand. I'm actually gonna go ahead and set the phone down. I got a couple threads in, but I know the last one, the alignment wasn't perfect, so I had to move the diff around a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that down here, get it torqued down, and then I will only have one more to do, and that's the one on the front. All right, and then after that, I'm gonna start pulling in the BC coilovers, the rear springs, and then the adjustable springs and the shocks. So that's coming up next. All right, guys, so I'm all done with the rears. The rears are super easy. I mean, it was in and out. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same process I did on the driver's side front. I'm gonna do the same thing on the passenger side, and then I'm gonna be done with this part. Hope this guys helped you. Once again, 129 foot-pounds for torque. The new bolts that come with the BMR kit are 22s. The old bolts are in there are 18s. And that's about it. All right, guys, on to the next.